you're looking for your next 4th of July decor, then look no further because I've got you covered. Hello everyone and welcome to Amparo Wonderland. Today I am going to be showing you how to create these awesome looking pencil or hook holders. You simply just place your hook right in there into the holder and it is super cute. It is perfect for the holiday that's coming up, that it is our 250-year celebration, which is pretty awesome if I do say so myself. So let's go ahead and grab our materials. Here we've got our materials. As you can see, what we need are a sharp pair of scissors, our darning needle, we need our best friends, the stitch markers. I am using a crochet hook for this one. I will be using 3.75 millimeter. And of course, our 3 colors for the American flag, which is red, blue, and white. If you want exact details of the colors and the brands I'm using, you can find that in the description box down below. So let's stop talking and let's get yarning. Before we begin, I would like to let you know that we will be using US terms for this video with the pattern that is available for you. I am going to have this as a free pattern for this first week only. So do not miss out. Grab your free pattern. It is down below in the description box where it says free patterns. Go ahead and click that and then you can be guided to the free pattern of our American flag hook/pencil holders. So this is going to be version 1, and this will be version 2. And if you're looking at your patterns, which you should, this will be version 3. So let's go ahead and begin with version 1 and 2, where I show you how to create the solid bottom. So to begin, what we gotta do is that we gotta grab our smaller hook. This is a 3.75 millimeter size hook and our red yarn. To begin, we need to create a magic ring. So go ahead and create your magic ring as you know it. If you do not know how to create one, I do have a short available for you. At the top right corner, the card, and you just click that and it'll take you on how to create it step by step. Now that we have our magic ring created, we are going to go ahead and chain 2. To chain 2, all you gotta do is that you're going to yarn over and pull that yarn over through this loop that's on the back of your hook and just pull it right through. And that's 1. Then you do that again. You yarn over and pull through. That's 2. And now that is not considered any sort of stitch. It's kind of like an addition or a startup chain. So that way you can have a solid circle when you go around, because we are going to be working with double crochet. So we're going to yarn over and we're going to create a double crochet. So you go into your magic ring. You're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. So you've got 3 loops on your hook here. You're going to yarn over and pull through these first 2 loops that are on your hook, like that. And you're going to yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops that you have here on your hook. And that is a double crochet. That is going to be your first stitch of the round. And if you're looking at version 2, it is created the same exact way, so make sure you follow along with whichever pattern you wish to do. So now, since we are working with version 1, in version 1 it is a bigger base, so we're going to create 12 double crochet to start with our base. So that was 1 double crochet, so go ahead and create another one. So you yarn over, go into your magic ring, yarn over and pull up a loop. You got 3 loops on your hook there, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. And that's your second double crochet. You want to continue doing that into your magic ring and create 12 double crochet in total. So here I have my 12 double crochet. You should have them as well unless you're following version 2, which is 10 double crochet. And now that we've finished, we want to close our magic ring. To close your magic ring, you have your working yarn. We're going to leave that alone, not touch that. And this little short end here, yours may be a little longer. You're going to go ahead and grab that and just pull it. And as you pull it, it's just gonna close your ring. So make sure you hold the rest of your stitches with your other hand to give it more support, and close it as tight as you can without breaking the piece. And now your magic ring is closed. As you can see, it is a closed circle there. Now, what we're going to do is that we are going to join our circle here. So we are doing the joining rounds instead of the spiral rounds. To do a joining round, what we're going to do is that we're going to go into our stitch here that we marked up, which is our first double crochet. Remember, the 2 chains do not work as a stitch. So you go right in there, and we're going to do a slip stitch. So you yarn over and pull that loop up, and that same loop goes right through the back loop there. Just like that, and that solidifies your first round. So we have finished the first round, and let's go ahead to round 2. So for round 2, what we're going to do is that we are going to start off by chaining 2. So you're going to go 1 and 2, just like we did at the beginning for round 1. And then we're going to work into that same stitch where you did your slip stitch, and we're doing a double crochet. So yarn over, go right in there, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. That's going to be your first stitch there. Just like that. And make sure you mark it up with your best friend. And now we're going to do another double crochet in the same exact stitch. So that means we are doing a double crochet increase. So in that same exact stitch, you do another double crochet. See, I did not move forward, it stays in the same stitch. Now we can go ahead and move on to the next stitch here, and we're going to create another double crochet increase. So you yarn over, go into that next stitch, pull up a loop and pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through 2. And then you do that again. Because it's a double crochet increase, we go into the same exact stitch and create another double crochet. Just like that. And you're just going to repeat that all the way around. Do a double crochet increase into each stitch. So you should have a total of 24 stitches for this second round. Here we go. I've got my 24 stitches for this second round. And you want to make sure that you do count at the end of each round to make sure that you do have the correct amount of stitches, because if not, it will set you back when you continue your pattern. So now we're going to go ahead and join the round just like we did on the first round. We're going to go into our first stitch here where you marked it up, and you're going to create a slip stitch. Like that. So that solidifies your round, and now we're going to round 3. For round 3, again, we're going to chain 2 and then do a double crochet into that same stitch. Now the pattern that we're following for this round is that we're going to do 1 double crochet in the first stitch and then a double crochet increase in the next stitch. So make sure you mark up your first stitch here for that double crochet. So we did 1 double crochet, and now we're going to do a double crochet increase into the next stitch. So let's go ahead and create 2 double crochet into that second stitch. Now make sure that when you create your double crochets, you don't make them too tight, because if you do, you will have a chance of having your circle curling up like this, which is not what you want to have. So make sure to keep your double crochets a little bit more on the looser side. So we did 1 double crochet, then a double crochet increase. Now we repeat that. 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and then a double crochet increase into the next stitch here. So that means 2 double crochet in that 1 stitch. Okay, so go ahead and continue that pattern. So we do 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and then a double crochet increase into the next stitch. and this is 2. So at the end of your round, you should have a total of 36 stitches. So go ahead and continue that pattern, and then I'll show you what we're going to do next to continue this pattern. Here we go. So this is the end of round 3. We just got to solidify it by joining our round here the same exact way that we did for the other 2. So you go into that stitch, that first stitch, and you're going to create a slip stitch. And now that finishes the base of our holder. For version 2, it is the same exact way. You got 3 rounds, but again, you start with a double crochet of 10 instead of the 12. So it does give it a smaller base. So now what we're going to do is that we are going to fasten off this piece. So we're going to fasten off, which means you cut off that end there that you're working on. And it is a slip stitch, so you can simply just slip it right out, and that should be just fine. And now we're going to grab our darning needle here because I'm going to show you how to create a false stitch to really solidify that join of that circle. So go ahead and place your working yarn into your darning needle. And we're going to take a look here. As you can see, we worked our slip stitch into this stitch here. And so we're going to skip that stitch, skip the next one, and go into the third one. Technically, this is the second stitch from where you worked your last slip stitch. But anyway, go right into that stitch from front to back all the way and tighten it a little bit. And then we're going to go back into our slip stitch that we made, and we're going to the back loop only. So as you can see, each stitch has 2 loops. This is our front loop. This is the back loop right here. That's a back loop there. But we're going to do that on our slip stitch. So this is our front loop, and this is the back loop. That's where we're going from front to back. We're going through there, and that creates a false stitch, and that way it gives you a perfect circle all the way around. Now that we've finished that, what you're going to do is that you want to kind of thread it down this way a little bit so that way it's out of the way. You are more than welcome to actually weave your end. What we're going to do is that we are going to place our piece. As you can see, the wrong side is facing upward. And what we're going to do is that we're going to grab, again, our red here. And we're going to work into the post of the double crochet. Here. It looks like this. So that is one post of the double crochet. This is the second post, and so on and so forth. But to attach our piece, we are going to look for our 2-chain post first, so that way it can have an aligned section of where we did our joins. So my chain 2 section is right here. It's this one right here. So I'm going to work into that one first. So go ahead and take care of that. Place your hook right in the post here. And then we are going to grab our piece of yarn, which is attached to our skein here. And what you're going to do is that you are simply just going to slip it on here. So place it onto your hook like so, and then slip it right through. Take your time with this and make it caught. And there you go. So I got it to the other side here. As you can see, this is what it looks like. This is the back of it, or the bottom part of it. And now we're going to move our end here to the right side out of the way, and we are going to do a chain 1 with our working yarn, just a regular chain 1. Okay, so that does not count as a stitch. So we're going to move on to the next post here. And this next post, like this, we're going to create a single crochet. So you pull up a loop like you normally would, and then you yarn over and pull through 2, and that will be your first stitch of the round. And now what you're going to do for the rest of the round, we are going to go all the way around and do the same thing. We're going to go underneath, pull up a loop, and then do a single crochet. Okay, so each post is a single crochet. So you should have a total of 36 stitches for this round. So go ahead all the way around and create 36, and then come back and I'll show you how we're going to finalize the round. So I'm at the end here of the round. So now as you can see where we marked up our stitch, we're going to go right into that stitch like we normally would, and we're going to do a slip stitch. So the slip stitch doesn't count as a stitch, and we're going to chain 1. And again, that does not count as a stitch. And now for round 5, what we're going to do is what we've been doing already. So you go into that same stitch where you created that slip stitch, and we're going to create a single crochet, and that is going to be your first stitch of the round. And now for this round, what we're going to do is that we're simply just going to do a single crochet into each stitch. So again, at the end of this round, you should have a total of 36 stitches in total. So go ahead and create your 36 single crochet, and then come back to me and I'll show you how we're gonna move on to the next round where we switch up with the color white. Alright, so I'm at the end of my round here. We're gonna go ahead and join our round. So we create our slip stitch as we normally would. And then instead of doing a chain 1 with the red, we're going to go ahead and grab our white color yarn. With our white color yarn, we are simply going to slip it into our stitch here, or the loop that's there. And that's going to become our chain 1. What we're going to do now is that we're going to create a slip stitch into each stitch from this round. But the catch is that we are going to be working into the back loop only. So first we got to start in the stitch where we created our slip stitch, which is over here. And we're working into the back loop only. So you go right in there and create a slip stitch. So you pull up a loop and pull through. And that's going to be your first stitch of the round. And then we move on to the next stitch, and again we go in the back loop only and create a slip stitch. Make sure that these slip stitches that you create stay more on the looser side, so that way you can work into them when you come back around for the next round. So go ahead and create your slip stitches all the way around. You should have a total of 36, and then come back and I'll show you how we're going to continue for the next round. Okay, so I've got my 36 slip stitches in total here, so I'm going to go into the stitch that we created first, and we're going to go again into the back loop to join our round. Into the back loop only and create a slip stitch. And then we're going to chain 1, and we're going to go again into that same back loop, and we're going to create a single crochet. And this is now the next round here. This is our first stitch, that single crochet. And now what we're going to do is that we're going to work again into the back loop only of each slip stitch, and we're creating a single crochet. So go into the back loop and create a single crochet. Back loop, single crochet. Back loop, single crochet. So go all the way around and have 36 in total, and then come back and I'll show you how we're gonna do the next round. Alright, so we're at the end of the round here, and now we're gonna finalize this one by going through both front and back loops, so as you normally would, and you're going to do a slip stitch to join our round, and then we're going to chain 1. In this round, we are going to go back into that same stitch. We're going to pull up a loop and then yarn over and pull through both loops, and you get a single crochet. And that is exactly what we're going to do for the round. So go into each stitch as you normally would and create a single crochet. So a single crochet into each stitch the normal way, and you should have 36 stitches in total. So go ahead and create that, and then I'll tell you how we're gonna continue this pattern. It's very easy, I promise. If you're liking this video so far, make sure you click that thumbs up because it really helps me out in figuring out what type of videos you all like. So go ahead and click that like button, and yeah, I'll see you at the end of this round. Okay, here we are for this final round, and what we're going to do is what we have been doing, which we join normally into that first stitch and create your slip stitch, and then we're going to switch to red. So instead of chaining one with the white, we're going to go ahead and chain one with the red. That's why we never fastened off the red. You can if you want, but I feel like there's no need for it. So you chain one, and then we're gonna go into the back loop of that same spot where you did the slip stitch, and we're going to create a slip stitch. So if you remember from round 6, we did exactly that same method where we did a slip stitch into the back loop only, and that's because we are going to repeat the same thing that we did for these white rows or rounds. We're going to do the same thing for the red. So you do a slip stitch around for this round. The next round you do a single crochet in the back loop only, and then in the next one you do a regular single crochet all the way around. So you're going to repeat that pattern of rounds 6 through 8, and you're going to repeat that 3 more times. So this round is going to be red, and then the next stripe will be white, and then the next repeat will be red. Then come back to me and I'll show you how we're going to do it with blue. Alright, so what you should have should look a little like this. So you should have the red 3 times and the white twice. Now we're going to add in the blue. The blue is just as easy as the other parts. You are literally just going to attach your blue, any blue that you want, that you have, and you're going to do what you did with the white. So you're going to slip it right in there, and then you are going to create a slip stitch in the back loop only, just like we have been doing, and you are literally just going to repeat rows 3 through 5 instead of 6. So rows 3 to 5, go ahead and do that with the blue all the way around, and then come back here and I'll show you how we are going to do that star stitch. By the way, you are more than welcome to fasten off the red because we are not using red anymore, and you can weave it in as you go. So go ahead and fasten off and continue your rounds while you weave in that color. Okay, all right, we have made it. You should have repeated rounds 6 through 8 here with the blue. So now what we're going to do is that we are going to grab our white yarn. After joining our round here, we're going to grab our white and we're going to slip it right in there, and that's going to be chain 1. We're going to do 2 more chains, chain 2 and 3. So we have 3 chains with our white here. And now what we're going to do is that we're going to work the star stitch. To start it off, we got to work in the second chain from the hook. We're going to place our hook into that chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, and that's 1. Now we're going to go into the next chain, which is where this blue is right here. You're going to go into that stitch, you're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, and that's 2. Now we're going to go into that stitch where you made your slip stitch, place your hook into the stitch, and we're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, and that's 3. We're going to do it 2 more times. So go into the next stitch, do the same thing, and then 1 more time into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. So you should have 6 loops on your hook in total. And what we're going to do to seal the deal is that we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull through all 6 loops. So take your time going through all 6 loops to make sure you don't snag anything. So now you should have a little shape like this. Kind of looks like a croissant to me. And then to really solidify it, we're going to chain 1. and that kind of just ties the knot and makes sure that it stays in place. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to repeat that process just a little different. We're going to go into the eye first, so that chain 1 space. Place your hook into that chain 1 space. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. And then we're going to go into the front of the leg here. Place your hook, yarn over, and pull up a loop. We're going to go into that stitch where that leg is, that last leg of the star. Place your hook in there and do the same thing, yarn over and pull up a loop. And now we're going to go into the next 2 stitches and do the same thing. So place your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, 1 more, pull up a loop. So again, you should have 6 loops on your hook. So you're going to yarn over and pull through all 6 loops at once, like so. Then you chain 1. And that's it. Just repeat that process all over again. So you're going to place your hook into the eye of the star, pull up a loop. Go into the last furthest leg here in the front, pull up a loop. Into that same stitch where that last leg is, place and pull up a loop. And then into the next 2 stitches, you do the same thing. 6 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 6 loops, chain 1, and done. So continue that process all the way around. So you should have a total of 17 stars, including these 3 here. And so go ahead and do that and come back to me and I'll show you how we're going to finish the round. Here we are on our last star here. As you can see, we have 2 more stitches left though for this round. So what we're going to do is that we're going to repeat again, but instead of doing that loop thing 5 times, we're going to do it 4 times. So you go into those 2 stitches. So you'll have 5 loops in total instead of the 6. Yarn over and pull through all 5. And then do that chain. And then for the last stitch for this round, what we're going to do is that we are going to work into this stitch here where that last leg is for that star. And we're going to do a half double crochet. So you yarn over, go into that stitch where that star is, yarn over and pull up a loop. We have 3 loops on our hook, so we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops there. And that's a half double crochet, which is our last stitch for the round. And to join, we are going to join into the top of the chain 3 here, right in there, and just create a slip stitch. And that ends our round. So to continue the next round, what we're going to do is that we're going to chain 1. And we're going to go into that same chain and you're going to create a single crochet. That is going to be our first stitch there. And now what we're going to do is that we're going to work into each eye or chain 1 space of each star. And what we're going to do in each space is that we're going to do 2 single crochet. So a single crochet increase. So go into that eye and create a single crochet and then repeat again. Go into the eye once again and do a single crochet. And that's it. You just continue that all the way around. So go ahead and create your single crochets. And then when you get to the end here, you're going to create 1 single crochet into the half double crochet. So that should give you a total of 38 single crochet for this round. So go ahead and take care of that and then come back and I'll show you how we're going to finish this off. So here I am on my half double crochet, which is the last stitch of the round, and you just do, as I said, 1 single crochet, and then we are going to join by going into that first stitch and creating a slip stitch, which is what we have been doing for the joining of the rounds. And there you have it. You have your star stitch for this round. And now we continue with the blue. So go ahead and grab your blue and create your chain 1 with the blue. And then we're going to create a slip stitch into each stitch in the back loop only. One, and then we're going to mark it up. And now we're going to go all the way around and create a slip stitch into each stitch, just like we did previously. So we are at the end of our round here, and we're gonna do our join as usual, and make sure that your join goes through the back loop only, just like we have previously. And that's gonna solidify that round, and then we're going to chain one and create a single crochet into that same back loop, and then mark up that first stitch, because that will be your first stitch of the round. And now we're gonna start creating the scalloped edge. So we skip the next stitch and work into the next one, and we're going to create 5 double crochet. So you're going to yarn over, go into the back loop only, yarn over and pull up a loop. We've got 3 loops, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. You do that again 4 more times in that same back loop. Create your double crochet. You should have 5 in total. And then we're going to skip our next stitch here and work into the next one, and again do a single crochet in the back loop only. So for this whole round, we're going to be working in the back loop only. So that creates your first little shell or fan or whatever you want to call it. And we're going to repeat that pattern all the way around. So you skip one, go into the next one, and create 5 double crochet into the back loop only. And then after creating the 5 double crochet, we skip the next stitch and work into the next one and create a single crochet in the back loop only. So go ahead and continue that pattern all the way around until you get to the last one. The last one's going to be a little different. So when you create 8 of these fans, and then come back to me and I'll show you how we're going to finish the last one. Alright, so I repeated my shell 8 times here. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to skip the next one after doing your single crochet. Skip the next one, work into the one after that, and you're going to create 6 double crochet instead of the 2. So go ahead and create those 6. And now that we finished our 6 double crochet, instead of skipping 1, we're going to skip 2 and then work into the last stitch here and create your single crochet. Just like that. Perfect. And then to finalize it, you're just going to go into your first stitch here, your first single crochet, and you're going to create a slip stitch and then fasten off your yarn. So you're gonna go ahead and fasten off, and then you just pull it right up like so, and all you gotta do is weave it in, and then you are done. So for version 2, you do the same thing for the scallops. Instead of doing double crochets though, what you're going to do is that you do single crochet. Now for version 2 and 3, we have our stars at the top here. So I'm going to show you really quick how to create those stars. As you can see, for version 2, you have the little scallop just like we do for version 1. It just has the little stars. So I have a little replica here where it has the scalloped edges. And to create the stars, what you got to do is that you got to grab your darning needle, and you need a strand of white yarn. This is about 30 inches or so. You can make it a little longer, a little tiny bit shorter if you want. but you do want more on the longer end, because what we will be doing is that we're actually going to be embroidering our stars. That's how you create those stars on there. So before we begin, let me show you. A star has 5 points, and each point is going to have a letter. So there's A, B, C, D, and E. So the order that we will be doing our star is that we're going to use point A to C, B to D, C to E, D to A, and then E to B. So leave about 4 to 5 inches or so in the back here. The points, you can do them wherever you want, but this is where I like to make them. So I like to make my point A here, B is here, C is here, D is here, and then E is around here, this section there. So you're more than welcome to leave your star open like this if you want. But if you want more of a filled in star, you're going to repeat that step again. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take care of that really quick. And when you are doing these points, you want to make sure that you go through the same exact points to kind of like fill in the star some more. All right, so I did my star here. As you can see, it's starting to fill in a little bit more. You are more than welcome to do a third if you want. It's just going to make it a lot more three-dimensional, and it could get a little messy. So what you can do is either you leave it like this, or you can follow with this next step. So each star has other points where the legs meet. So in each section is a number. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And those are the points we're going to be working into now. We have our needle in the back, so we're going to work into 1 first. Try to get as close to the edge or the corner here as you can, and place your needle through. Then we're going to work into 3. Again, try to get as close to the corner as you can, and go through from the front. Now our needle is in the back again. We're going to work into number 2. Again, as close to the corner as you can. And we're going to work into 4 from the front. Now we go into 3. You can go into the same exact point where you already had your thread go through before. We're going to go into 5. It can be a little difficult just because of the type of crochet we're making here. And then we're going to go into 4, which goes into 1, and then finish the star at 5 into 2. Right in there. Okay, and that's how you get your filled in star. You just shape it up with your finger, and that's it. That is how you embroider your star. So you can do that for the remainder of the shells. As you can see, the thread is done. You can finalize the thread there, or you can make a longer one. The only thing about making a longer one is that, if, as you can see in the back, it kind of creates a little bit of a mess here. So if you do have a longer thread and you continue to make your stars, you will end up with kind of like this, unless you thread in between the stitches to get to your next point. So if you want to avoid that, you do want to keep the thread at least 30 inches or a little bit more. Now that you know how to create these stars, you can finish version 2 of the hook holder. For version 3, as you can see, we also have the stars at the top. So you are going to use the same exact method. On these ones, I did not copy the first row twice, which is why it looks a little funny, but this is what it comes out like if you do not do that, which is completely fine as well. It doesn't look super bad, but for these ones, I like to make them with 2 stitches in between each star, so it separates them, but you are more than welcome to place them wherever you wish. Now, to create this thick look when it comes to this version 3, let me show you how you create that with regular yarn. It is very simple. I'm going to show you with this white color yarn. What you're going to do is that you are simply going to grab your yarn like so, and we're going to create kind of like an S. So the S is going to look like a 3 here, like this, or more like a Z than an S. So it's a Z shape, and then we're going to sandwich it together. Try to keep your edge close to this side here, aligned as perfect as you can. And now you have a thick version of your yarn, and with that is how you are going to create your thick yarn, your magic ring. So if you want to make your magic ring with this thick yarn, you're going to need a bigger hook. So this is a 10mm hook, which is what I used to create version 3 of the holder. So you create your magic ring regularly, however you create your magic ring. But I just came across a problem. Because I made this a little bit too short, I did not have enough to create it. So what you're going to do in that case is that we're going to make this a little bit longer. So I'm going to make it like this. You can't really see it too well because it's out of the view, but it works up the same exact way. You're just going to have the 3 layers and just bundle up like so. And you've got the thick yarn. And now I can go ahead and create my magic ring. But if you do have already a thick yarn, you don't have to do this method. So now that we have there, we're gonna create a few single crochet just so I can show you how this works if you run out of yarn. So as you can see, my circle here is getting shorter. So that means that I have to extend the thickness of the yarn. So you see this little loop here, and we have our working yarn here. What you're gonna do is that you're gonna go through the loop and you're gonna grab that working yarn and just pull it through like so. As long as you want, or as short as you want, depending on how far you're gonna work with that thick yarn. So now I can continue creating my magic ring here. I'm not counting, I'm just creating so that way you can see how it works. You just want to make sure that you do grab all of the strands together as you are working that magic ring or working any of your stitches. So now that that's done, what we're going to do, we have this little end here, we have our working yarn. We're going to close it with our shorter end, and voila, we have our thick circle here that is closed with our magic ring. So it's that easy. You just follow the pattern like you did for the other ones, and the only difference is just that you have to use your yarn this way to get that thickness of the version 3 for the hook holder. And that's it. Now you know how to create these 3 versions for the crochet hook holder or pencil holder, whatever you want to use it for. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up because it really helps me out figure out what type of videos you all enjoy. And also, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, definitely let me know in the comment section down below. Just make sure you go ahead and grab that pattern that will be free for this week only. So take advantage and grab that pattern now. So if you enjoyed this video, then you want to go ahead and check out this one right over here, and I will see you there. And if not, then I will see you in the next one. Bye.